stay conservative, run the ball here on third down.
Here's Richardson. He takes it in for his first NFL touchdown. And Pittman takes it inside the 20, the 10, towards the end zone. Touchdown on 2nd and 28. The Colts capitalize. Richardson to Pittman, 39 yards.
Yo, what's up, everybody? It's your boy Leroy. Got my guy Trev with me,
What's
and
up?
we are kicking with the crew. Welcome back for another episode. Appreciate everybody who's coming in this weekend. Hope everybody's weekend been going good so far. How you doing tonight, Trev?
Chilling, man. We got the UGA versus Bama game up. Bama just scored again, so that might be a long night for Dogs fans.
Yep.
Just now. But yeah, man, just enjoying the time. Not a lot of work going on, so just kicking back, watching some football, you know?
Yes, sir. Love it. College football been going pretty good all day. I mean, Travis Hunter is electric. I mean,
He's ridiculous,
if
man.
if I wasn't a guy who really wanted to win, man, I'd be like, go ahead and kind of write the season off. I'll take give me a dog at corner, man.
Yeah. If you're one of those teams where you don't have anything going to the playoffs in the NFL this year, you might just take a year off. And, yeah, let's see if we can get this guy in the top 5, man. He's a freak, dude. He really is. He is as advertised.
A dog. But yeah, man, it's been going good so far. My Gators are on a bye week. LSU play tonight?
We play.
They're playing right now.
South
Alabama, right? Yeah.
we better win. That's all I'm saying. Better win.
Nah, you guys are gonna win that one. It's tough when you see some of those matchups because you're like, you guys, the team that you're playing against, you're like, you clearly don't have the talent to keep up.
Yeah.
So the only way
it's not
you
fair.
have a chance is just by completely screwing it off.
Of course, you say that, but then you have games like when Notre Dame played Northern Illinois and lost. Like sometimes these small schools just come with a little bit of magic, and that's what makes college football crazy sometimes.
But that's Notre Dame. Notre Dame always does stuff.
Yeah. They find a way to fuck it up all the time.
Yeah, I mean, you just don't see SEC schools going out and losing their life.
Speaking of smaller schools, my UL Raging Cajuns went into Wake Forest and got a big W today, so happy about that.
Okay. Who's the coach over there?
It is Michael Desormeaux. He used to be the quarterback for UL like years ago. Not a big known name, but took in after Billy Napier left for y'all's Gators, and he's doing all right.
I was just saying. I was just asking because Billy gonna need a job soon. So.
He can come back. I'll take him back. He was great at UL.
Who's ever over there he gonna need some help.
Yeah, no kidding. Chris Jackson says, man. What's good, fellas? What's up, man? Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in with us. Yeah.
What's up, my guy Chris, man? Go make sure everybody y'all go check them out. That's a Horseshoe Mile podcast right there. Go check them out. I believe they're live every Tuesday night, so go check them out, man. What's up?
I know this past Tuesday, I'm sure they were also celebrating the Colts win because finally we got on the board after 3 weeks with our first victory against the Chicago Bears.
Yes, sir. Matter of fact, let's get right into it, man. So, Colts beat the Chicago Bears 21-16. It was not a pretty game, but we got it done. This was really a defensive game overall. Anthony Richardson and Caleb Williams struggled despite whatever stats you go ahead and look at. The Indianapolis running game was on display. Jonathan Taylor was a man amongst boys. The Bears really had no running game, which was really good to see because I figured that anybody in the league, you just run the ball, you're going to have success. So it was good to see that got cleaned up to a certain extent. And defenses played pretty good. I mean, Anthony Richardson missed some throws kind of made the Bears defense look a little bit better than what it probably should have. But Colts defense came through, man.
Yeah, and I mean, we really just needed a game like that. Granted, Caleb Williams went for 360 yards, but it didn't even seem like it watching the game. He was just racking up this yardage, but it wasn't leading them anywhere. They weren't scoring, so you almost didn't even notice. Their leading rusher was Rashawn Johnson with 30 yards carrying the ball. So, this defense really needed a game like this where they could just step up, stop the run like we've been begging them to since the beginning of the year. It's kind of just a get-back game, right? Like my caption here says get-back game. That's a game you need. And granted, it's against a team that has a rookie quarterback, that has a struggling offense. But you play who's in front of you, right? And you got to take those games and take advantage of them and get where you need to be. So hopefully this game can be the kind of launching pad for where we expect our defense to be this year.
Absolutely. I thought it was pretty good that the Colts defense actually showed up the way that they did. Our run defense actually, gave me some surprises to how well they were playing, knowing that teams are going to come in and punch us in the mouth because we haven't shown we can stop them.
Yep.
I thought that was really good. It's pretty crazy because right now Bears fans are kind of putting DeAndre Swift on the Trent Richardson line.
Yeah.
There's been some clips going around that dude hasn't been running well. He running into his his offensive lineman. Kind of made it look real rough for him. So it was shocking to see, especially since the fact that they paid him. And a lot of people saying, hey, it's Roschon Johnson's time now. But definitely like what we did. I don't have snap counts here, but definitely love the fact that we had Grover and Raekwon Davis up there playing a lot of the snaps. I actually just had it up here from Coach PFF. Grover Stewart was one of the best, or not one of the best, but graded very highly so far this season. He has a 77.1 run defense grade, which is third amongst all defensive tackles, 5 run stops, which is tied for 6th, and then 3 tackles for loss, which is tied for 2nd. So absolutely been playing very well. And then Raekwon Davis, obviously, we had the high blood pressure with him, so we did not get to see him to start out the season. So it was really good to see that he's finally getting his his breathing back, being able to stay on the field and play a lot of those snaps because we need him, especially with DeForest Buckner being down.
Man, and what was super impressive with Raekwon, just for that size, you want to talk about athleticism, he can get to the outside. Like whenever the edge isn't sealed or he just needs to bounce out or whatever. We watched, I believe it was on a screen pass, just something to the outside there. Raekwon just appears and damn near takes the guy's helmet off. Like he was a flash a couple times back there, which is super impressive just considering how big the guy is. So that could be really huge for us. We saw Leatu Latu get a strip sack against Caleb Williams. That was huge.
His first sack
of his career. And, of course, against a guy he's been bullying in college as well. He had a strip sack against him last year when Washington played UCLA played USC. Yeah. And
I was going to say his best game.
Yeah. Yeah. So maybe he just doesn't have – maybe he's got something against Caleb Williams. But, man, he was going after it. He got the ball. It was cool to see, man. We need that from him.
Most definitely. I thought it was great for him, especially to get a strip sack. And for those of you who don't know, Kwity Paye is out for this Sunday. We also don't have Samson Ebukam, which means that Latu is in line to get his first start of the season. And his pressure rate and win rate against tackles has been pretty high. So it's going to be good to see him finally get unleashed. So hopefully we get to see him go crazy this Sunday.
Yeah.
And the tackles the Steelers are missing one of their tackles that they started the season with. So can't wait to see that as well.
Yeah. Also, just another shout out on defense, Jalen Jones with 2 interceptions. His first interception, if I'm not mistaken, but 2 in one game. Just getting after him, man. Not giving Caleb Williams a break at all. So that was really good to see as well, especially considering Juju Brents went down again. The secondary's been a question. Now it's an even bigger question. And here comes Jalen Jones going, hey, I can be that guy. I can make these plays. I can help out the secondary. And he does just that with 2 picks on the day. Just a massive game for Jalen Jones. He played coverage really well all game. And obviously 2 picks is incredible.
Yeah, man, it was really good to see, man, especially where we know that we came into the season questioning the secondary and the fact that we had a chance for Juju to have, a pick, and he didn't get his feet in on the sideline. So for Jalen to make sure he actually got his feet in on both of them, especially the second one where he's juggling the ball with one hand.
Ridiculous.
And make sure his feet was in. Oh, man, it was just great to see from those young players. And then our safeties played a lot better. Or not our safeties. I mean, our linebackers played a lot better. Zaire Franklin and EJ Speed, they definitely needed some makeup games, which I'm still not giving him no passes. I know Zaire back outside and he talking to the fans and everything. I'm still not with it. One game versus the Bears does not prove anything to me, so I still want to see it. You guys talked a lot.
You
It
keep
came
going
in
with
week
it.
one. Just did not get there. And then David's coming here as well. Actually, appreciate that because I did forget about that. But Nick Cross was the one who actually made the play, the deflection for Jalen Jones to get that pick. So appreciate that, Dave. But yeah, so it was definitely great to see.
Nick Cross too. Also, correct me if I'm wrong, but I just seen a graphic. I believe it was updated after week 3 where he's leading the league in tackles, which it's not. He still leads the league. Yeah, it's not ideal, right? Because you want ideally Zaire and EJ to be making those tackles, and he doesn't have to come up. But I mean, it is what it is, right? And he is coming.
Alabama scored again.
They might be kicking Georgia's ass. That's tough. But
wow.
Yeah, Nick Cross has shown a great ability to just come down and run support, light a dude up, make a play, just get a body on somebody when he needs to. And that's been good to see because, as you guys know, if you've been watching this for a while, it's been like every year we've been waiting for Nick Cross to really start making plays. And whereas, we still haven't seen a ton of excellence out of him in coverage, that run support is a big part of playing safety, and he's doing it excellent right now. So it's just good to see from him.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. It was good to see from the defense overall. And again, I know we gave up the 360 yards passing, but a lot of those were garbage time. They were forced to throw the ball. We pretty much had to come back at that point. All they could do was throw the ball. So not really too much.
I think it's scheme too, man. Like when we're dropping in zone coverage, it's already garbage time. They're already trying to come back. Like it's kind of bound to happen. So I wasn't too worried about it either.
Absolutely. And then offense, offense, we struggled a bit.
Yeah.
This was I'd probably say Anthony Richardson's worst game he's had as a Colt. Did not look really good. Missed a few throws. Had a couple interceptions, especially a bad one to Michael Pittman Jr. And then he had I believe it was 2 interceptions. Yeah, the one bad to Pittman. A lot of people are saying the one that he had in the red zone was a bad play, which is crazy to me. I really feel like there's some haterism to it because there's sometimes where people will say, "Oh, well, this guy had a pick, but the ball was tipped, so that's not really a bad play on him. The ball got tipped." Yeah. So I'm like, the same thing happened to Anthony Richardson. They say it got tipped, but it's a bad decision. So I'm like, what do you mean? Like, what is he supposed to do if the ball gets tipped? So
maybe that like hindsight's 2020. Maybe you want him to tuck it and run it, or just hit the rollout easy. Like there were other options. I understand the argument, but he's trying to get it in there. We know we're going to see plays like this. I'm not trying to write it off. I mean, obviously, throwing a pick in the red zone is always bad, no matter what. But yeah, I kind of agree too. It's like it's not. I don't think it's as big of a deal as some people wanted to make it. It happens. It happens, especially with a young quarterback who's going to make these mistakes. It's slightly concerning that this is 2 weeks straight where Richardson really hasn't played well. But I'm still not hitting the panic. But we've anyone that's a rational football fan, I think, came into the season knowing we're going to see high highs and low lows with Richardson. And if this is as bad as it gets, which I really think it is, I mean, looking at the numbers, it was not a good game, right? 10 for 20 completions, 167 yards, 2 interceptions. Not a great day by any means, right? Even rushing the ball, he only had 24 yards with 8 carries. Not a great day, really at all. But if this is the worst that he's going to play, and I believe it is, then we're only up from here. We've seen a lot better from him. We saw a lot better week 1 when he played against the Houston Texans, who are a much better team, by the way. So I think it was just a down week. Same story in Green Bay. Like, yes, he is having some struggles, but I don't think there's any reason to hit the panic button. I think he's going to sort this out still.
Yeah, man. It's kind of like when you sit here and look at it, and a lot of people question it. I've been trying to be the argumentative guy on a lot of side of it. I hate to hear the knocks on it. Multiple people sit there. It's like I had told you guys. It's like some people say, "Oh, he should have never been a top 5 pick or whatever." Blah 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 blah. He hasn't done anything to earn it, right? And then a lot of people sit there and say, "Well, it's his projection." That's the same reason you draft a guy. You project him to get better. And then people say, "Well, Why wouldn't you draft him high? Well, he has accuracy issues. Then Colts fans get mad. He has a bad game with accuracy. They're like, this guy sucks. He can't throw the ball to his receivers. Blah blah. I'm like, that was his problem.
Yes. We knew what we were getting into.
Exactly. So there's no reason to be out on it, and to sit here and say that people were talking about calling to bench him and stuff like that, like Bryce Young. I mean, like there's a total difference between playing football and just panicking, not seeing the field well, not processing things, not being able to pick up blitzes, not being able to protect yourself. This was a completely, totally different situation. Anthony Richardson is processing better than many expected. There was the one where he had the cutback that was a touchdown for Jonathan Taylor. He picked up the blitz to tell JT, this guy is coming here to be able to watch for that blitz. So it's just situations like that where it's like, okay, if he's getting it up here, we just have to wait for it to get consistent. And, Colts fans clearly don't have patience, but it's still one of those things where you're going to have to be patient. Go look at Josh Allen's rookie year. I thought this year we might have slipped past it just because of the fact that, he got hurt last year, dealt with the injury, took a year off. That was on me and many Colts fans that we think we're walking into year 2 with this guy when really, in fact, we're still working on year 1. So that's what this is. And so it's just going to take a bit more time that we have to relax and can't keep acting like we need to put all the pressure on the world on this guy to come in and be our hero right now. We need the rest of this team to play better around him to get us to where we want to be.
Yeah, and I think I started to realize that too, mostly probably like halfway through this Bears game where it's like, man, I definitely had a little too high expectations on just how sharp Richardson would be, just because he shows such quality in those moments when you really need him to, but consistency isn't there yet. I love the Josh Allen comp you made because I think it's really accurate. I think they have similar play styles, similar athleticism, similar deep ball, everything. And Josh Allen, as you said, struggled with a lot of the same things early on. Now he's probably the best. He's having the best season this far. I'm not going to say he's QB1 because Mahomes is.
No, he's QB1 right now. But I do agree with you. Mahomes is QB1 until he isn't. But we have to look at what we're seeing right now.
This season, Josh Allen's going crazy, and he has been for a couple years. He's been one of the best quarterbacks in the league for a couple of years. So the Bills showed the model, right? Have patience with a quarterback like this. Continue to develop him. Continue to work on the small things. He's already got so much to offer you. You just need to keep sharpening him. And I like that you brought up Bryce Young as well, because it's two entirely different situations. Like Bryce Young, and I'm not trying to even like talk shit on Carolina or anything, but when Bryce Young is in the game, you look at that offense, you have zero faith that they can even run their offense. And it shows because as soon as they put in a veteran who kind of understands the game better, they can actually run their offense. They can actually score by throwing the ball. Not even a question when Bryce Young is not even possible. The difference is Anthony Richardson, you're going to have some rust. You're going to have some mistakes, but he comes in like in the Texans game where we need him to make a throw. Obviously we ended up losing that game, but even down to the wire, I'm like, it could be a 50-yard bomb and we still have a chance because we have Anthony Richardson. Like he is still that guy, he needs development, but let's not get crazy here talking about Bryce Young comparisons. I don't think they're anywhere in the same stratosphere. He's still going to be that guy.
I mean, it's crazy because people compare him to everybody. It's like he's not seeing Ghost. That's what you don't want him to see. That's when you know that's when you start to worry. Dave brings up another good point that I do want to get to, but it's just the fact that everybody compares Anthony Richardson to somebody else. Like somebody was saying, Jaden Daniels is the guy that everybody thinks Anthony Richardson is supposed to be or whatever. And I'm like, well, you're talking about a guy who's almost 3 years older than him and who's played in almost 30 more games.
Yeah.
So I'm like,
which is funny because he's the rookie, but yes.
I'm like, and this guy is completely younger and has less experience. I'm like, what are we talking about here? I'm like, it's just crazy the narratives or situations that people come up. Like people absolutely want to hate Anthony Richardson. And it reminds me a lot of Josh Allen, the way that people used to talk about, this guy is trash. I remember Jalen Ramsey talking about him. He sucks. This guy sucks. They never should have drafted him, blah, 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 blah. Like,
and what's he done since
then? It's just crazy. Like, you have to let guys develop when they're showing you signs of mistakes. Dave Stewart was going back here to some of Caleb Williams' yards. He was saying 50 of them were on that Hail Mary. Luckily, it was 50 yards short. Yeah, exactly. I want to get to some of this, too. Dave said, some of the mistakes might be getting in the AR's head. Do you remember the third or fourth down where he didn't air it out 30 yards and lofted it, trying to be fine with the throw, and it was knocked down, the receiver was wide open. He's talking about the throw to A.D. Mitchell, that if he throws it on the line the way we know that he can throw it, it gets there straight to A.D., and he's possibly thinking about like not wanting to overthrow him, so he's kind of hesitant to it. And this is a very good point, Dave, because that's what we don't want him to do. We don't want him to second guess himself, but we need him to start knowing the difference between how he needs to throw the ball. And that's something that's, I mean, it makes a lot of sense because when you've only played 20 games between college and NFL,
it's insane.
You don't necessarily have a lot of experience throwing the ball. And then when you miss a whole year, you go back to where he's rehabbing instead of learning. And it's going to take time for him to just understand. I wouldn't say time. Like this would be the season that if he needs to know of ball placement, like how do I need to get this ball to my receiver? Do I need to get it straight there to him? Do I need to put some air under this one and let him run under it? Things like that is stuff that we want to see him figure out this year.
Yeah.
Then there's other throws like the accuracy ones, the middle of the field, you know, getting consistency there to where we're not just missing guys and airmailing them. Those are ones we'll see and improve over the offseason. But this is a perfect example, Dave, that you're making here of the ones where he gets in his head a little bit. We don't want him to do that too much, but I think that'll come game by game where he kind of starts to figure that out. I will say the one that really pissed me off, though, like I will say, because there was times where I was pissed off at Minshew sometimes where he wouldn't let the ball rip. But the one with Anthony Richardson when he threw the interception to Michael Pittman Jr., where he throws it over his head and it goes straight to the receiver, is the fact that Anthony Richardson is stepping up into the pocket. He could have easily took off and run, probably got 10, 15 yards or something. I'm not exactly sure how wide open it was, but he takes off, steps up, see Michael Pittman, and he throws it back across his body all the way to the left side of the field. Those are the type of mistakes that you don't want to see him do.
Yeah.
Those are the mistakes that we might be like, okay, look, if you're going to do dumb shit like this, I might have to bench you. Because that's just absolutely, everybody knows. Never throw late and back across your body. Just take off with the ball. Be safe.
Get what you can.
That was the one that kind of made me sit there and watch and be like, what the fuck? What are you doing?
It's almost like everyone remembers the Carson Wentz year, and it had high highs and low lows. Now, the problem was Carson Wentz was like 28 years old, right? He's not a rookie anymore. You can't have that from a guy. But it's like where Richardson is right now, it's a lot of the same stuff, man. He's way more athletic. I think his ceiling is insanely higher than Carson Wentz's. So I don't act like I'm drawing a comparison here. But just the mentality of it, where it's like it has to be a home run, or it's a strike, right? There's no in between. He's just going for the home run play every time. And what he needs to learn, and what I believe Steichen is going to really help with, is finding just those taking what the defense gives you plays, right? That's where he struggles with, and that's where he's overthrowing guys. He's like you said, turning across the body and chucking it. Like you can't have that shit. But because he's got such a mentality of like, I want to go out here and dominate and try to make these big plays, it's like he's doing too much. Yeah, Dave says it perfectly. Layups. Take the layups, man. And that's what he doesn't do right now. But again, we're going to see that develop, right? We're going to see that happen. He's not the first quarterback to have this exact problem. And you see most guys, as they go on throughout their career, they get a lot better about, hey, if the defense is going to give me this 5-yard out, I'll take this 5-yard out and see what my receiver can do with it. Shit like that. So I really believe he'll get better at it. So Colts Nation, let's just calm down with the panic button a little bit.
Exactly. And just like you said with Dave saying here, half his issues is with mechanics footwork. And again, this is something that I think that we all need to bear with this year, because this is not going to be simple. This takes repetition that he needs to continuously practice in the offseason. I mean, like if you've ever done like line dancing or something, or any type of something that requires footwork to be consistent, it's like taking a two-step, like watching somebody do the gritty. It's like your footwork has to be consistent over time to where you don't have somebody pressuring you in your face to make it change. Yeah. So he needs to go into the offseason to work that footwork, right? And then boom, then you start doing that footwork with somebody in your face in the offseason. Then boom, you come in the preseason, you see the same thing, and then the regular season. So this the footwork thing is definitely what he needs to work the work on, because if you see any time where his feet are right, that ball is either a missile or it's a right in the bucket, wherever it needs to be.
He's got it, man.
And it'll be there. But that'll take more time to make sure we get that consistent. And so, absolutely correct, Dave. There, once he fixed that footwork, we know where we'll be heading, and I think he has the character and the makeup to be able to get that worked out.
Now, transitioning just a little bit, as much as we can have patience for Anthony Richardson, one thing Shane Steichen has shown he's not going to have patience with is the team overall, right? We're not just going to accept failure. We're not going to accept losing. And what I think he did really well was, because AR wasn't having his best day, we did a good job of, hey, 28, take the game for us, man. Like, let's go get after it. Let's go get some rushing touchdowns, some rushing plays. Second half, JT really led the team, led the charge, ended the game with 110 yards, 2 touchdowns. Just a really, really solid day for JT. Not the best we've ever seen him have, but again, like, Chicago was shutting him down in that first half, and then we started finding these open lanes, leaning on guys, getting that defense tired, and busting open some big plays for JT. So I loved Steichen's willingness to be like, all right, something isn't working here. Let's shift fire. Let's adjust a little bit. Let's trust in Jonathan Taylor to take us home. And that's exactly what he did.
Absolutely. And I want to try and find the quote here. Really wish I could find it. Let me see.
Real quick, too, credit to Trey Sermon. He only had 2 carries, but one of them was for a touchdown. So I think that was his first touchdown in like a couple of years.
That was when AR pushed him into the end zone.
Yeah.
AR pushed him into the end zone. Yeah, loved it. That's what I love seeing from AR. The fact that he's never out of the game. You know,
No.
I think I really wish reporters would stop being so much like, hey, you God damn, 28-0. Georgia's getting spanked. Oh my God.
That's so tough. Hey, Bama's back, folks. I don't know if you noticed, but they're here.
They never left.
Yeah.
I thought there was gonna be some fall off from Saban, but
apparently not.
The fall off of Georgia.
Anyway.
But yeah, what was I about to say? Oh yeah, the reporters. Like, if you look at any of our reporters, whether it be Mike Chappell, George Brimmer, Nate Atkins, any of them, all of their reports continuously are questions. Keep being Anthony Richardson's accuracy. And you could tell it's starting to bother him a bit.
Yeah.
I wish people would leave it alone. Like, we know we're not gonna see. He might not even be for his career. He might never be a 65 to 67% type guy. That might never be something that's in his cards. But it's just the fact, the ability that he can give you, just like we were talking about before. I think we talked about before we even drafted him, to where it was like, you might get miss pass, run for a 2-yard gain, and we go 3 and out, right? And then the next drive we come back, boom, 70-yard play.
Yeah. Like,
that's what we're willing to live and die with by drafting a guy like this that might not necessarily have that. Now, if he grows and gets to be that 65% completion percentage type guy,
he's gonna be the MVP.
He's gonna be dangerous in the he's gonna be dangerous in the league if he gets to that point. But my point being is that I feel like it's getting to him being so young is the fact that, like, he sat there and said after the game or whatever, he was like, I don't know why I'm missing throws. You know, I get a little excited sometimes. I see a guy down the field and he might have a defender the closest to him is 7 yards open. I get a little excited, you know. We all do, and sometimes in those situations, it's like when you're playing basketball and you're on the court and you get that wide open 3, and you're like, oh yeah, there's no way I'm missing, and you completely airball because you were too wide open. So that's one of those things where I'm like, you guys keep asking them, and it's gonna start to wear on them. Like, just leave it alone. Yeah, like, you know, just talk about other parts in the game. That's something that will get better. Obviously, you know, they run with the biggest topic of the year, which has clearly been that outside of our running defense. And so I just wish for Anthony Richardson, I hope he blocks it out and just continuously play. Just keep playing. Don't worry about any of it. Just be smart with the football, and the plays will come how they come. And then, you know, just hit those layups, man. Just hit those. Like, when we need 3 yards, don't throw the ball too high for your running back running that flare route. You know, just try and get it to him so you can get it there. You hit those plays, we keep drives going, we'll be okay. Don't worry about any of it. We're not going to kill you for the intermediate throws, even though as much as we may want them, just because there'll be big plays there. Just keep sticking with it, keep riding with it, man, and he'll be all right,
Yeah, and I
man.
mean, you love to see too.
Dave
Like,
Stewart says he didn't have a chance.
oh, go ahead, go ahead.
Go ahead.
Well, I was gonna say
No, go
you
ahead.
love to see like after the game, he was so quick to take accountability, and he gave credit to all his teammates. But he was like, I need to be better for y'all, but I got y'all. Like, obviously a bad game, but whatever the comments may be, whatever the hate may be, he has that self accountability to say, don't worry about it. Like, I'm gonna do what I need to do to get better. But the team still had his back, so that's just one of those side things that you just love to see from this team.
Exactly, and that's one of the biggest things. Like, people like to sit here and talk about him. Like, I feel like he has a, when they say athletes say preparations is confidence. I feel like he prepares himself where he feels like he's ready for it. Just like where somebody tried to say he was talking crap about the Steelers when they talked about their defense or whatever. He was like, I'm not necessarily worried about anybody's team that we're playing against because I know that with our weapons, with our offense, that we should be able to compete with anybody. So it's not necessarily about them. It's just about us being who we need to be. And so that's one of those situations where I'm like, that's what people need to stop thinking. Like, he's not sitting here trying to talk about like how good he is.
No, it's
or
about
anything.
us.
He just believes
his
preparation and the work he puts in. Yeah, it's just about if I be who I should be, then this team, we're through the roof.
Yeah. Which,
so,
by the way, that
man,
quote is like entirely accurate to this point too. The games that we have lost, it's really looked like that. It's looked like we have failed to do what we wanted to do. It's not so much, and I know it doesn't make sense, like we got beat or we beat them or whatever, but it's like we beat ourselves. Yes, obviously they won, they scored more points, what have you. But it was things that we failed to do that we were trying to do. Whereas if we would have executed better, we would have won that game. And I know it's a blanket statement, but what he says is accurate. It's about us. It's about what we do that'll lead to these wins and losses. It doesn't really matter who we're playing.
100%. Go back and look at week 1 and week 2. Did we win those games or did we beat ourselves?
Beat ourselves.
And straight to the point, we beat ourselves. And so it's just things like that where it's like, I don't know, it's like people just want to hate Anthony Richardson for whatever reason. Maybe they don't feel like he deserves it. And me, I'm not one of the people that believes in the word deserve. I feel like you deserve whatever you earn.
Yep.
So that's where I go with that. David Stewart saying here he didn't have a chance at offseason because he was injury. Hopefully this year he makes a huge step in this offseason. Yeah, we still got to get there, Dave. So let's take a break. I don't know if you know Shad McGinnis on Twitter. Yeah, he was saying that at least Anthony Richardson beat the injury allegations or whatever, and I was like, let's calm down. He still needs at least 2 more games because it was 5 last year. So
ways to go,
yeah, we got to get to the offseason to make.
He's been finishing games though, which is huge.
Exactly. That's huge for us. Nathan says without Kenny Moore in pay, going to be hard. It was just like I was telling these guys in the group chat. I don't really want to hear that. I don't really care about injuries. They don't have Jaylen Warren, who I think is their best running back. I think Najee Harris is mid at best. Yeah. They also have lost multiple linemen. They've lost their starting center. They lost their rookie tackle that they took. They also have plenty of injuries on that team. They're also without Alex Highsmith, their second best pass rusher, the one that we faced last year while TJ Watt was out. So injuries are going to happen. Next man up. We're in the season. We can't ask for injuries or want to see them now. Dave Stewart says one Shane miss needs to clean up his special teams. Oh wait, I don't think it's one Shane miss needs to clean up special teams. Run the damn ball with 2 minutes and 1 second left in the game. Oh, so Dave, man, you on it tonight, man. I love the points that you're getting to. The fact that we were even in that situation was a miss by Shane, and he did call it out. So what happened is on the kick return, instead of fair catching the ball and taking it, we should have returned the ball and ran it out. So we got to the 2-minute warning. Yep. That way, when the Bears got the ball, we would have already not given them a timeout. So against better teams and in different situations, we definitely can't make those type of mistakes. That was a coaching mistake, brain fart. He said it himself. And he said that on the returner, he should have told Ant Gold to take it out no matter what. That was a mistake on his part. Now, also to your point, run the damn ball. Yeah, exactly. Between Shane Steichen and Frank Wright, I don't know what's up with the coaches that come in here. Like, everybody wants to be these pass-happy teams. I don't know why. We are a running football team. We are run first.
Yes.
Like, I mean, like,
that's how we're built.
Like, I totally agree with you, Dave. I mean, we need to be running the ball from the jump. Like, the way where we have Anthony Richardson passing is right on, pace where he should be, but we got to run the ball a bit more and efficiently. I don't want to hear any more about we were down in the fourth quarter or whatever, blah, blah, blah. I don't care if we're down 27, bro. No. Keep running the ball, because all you do is take pressure off of AR. And I understand you don't want to run into a brick wall and there's different situations and stuff, but running it and making a conservative effort, I shouldn't even say conservative, making an aggressive effort to make sure we're still running the ball, it has to be a part of it. And I'm glad we showed that with JT. And even before, some people were talking about how JT missed some plays and pass pro and he had 2 drops or whatever. I don't care, bro. I don't care what JT does. He can fumble 7 times in a game. You keep running him the ball. And I'm just exaggerating there, but this is just what I mean by you play your best players. Yeah. Because of the fact that I got into some kind of arguments about it, or I wouldn't say necessarily arguments, but just debates on the fact that when he had missed the pass pro and didn't play in the fourth quarter versus Green Bay, people were making up reasons why he shouldn't have been or whatever. And then JT goes and catches the ball, and I think he had like 30 yards on that one reception that he had for the screenplay. Like, you keep playing those guys. Like, it just doesn't, to me, it just doesn't matter. Once you put the contract on that guy, he's got to be your guy. So, agree with you, Dave, on some different reasons. But definitely, in different situations, or like this week, we got Mike Tomlin coming into the building. We don't want to make mistakes. Like,
that's a veteran coach,
and not give him an extra timeout.
Yeah, and you look too, like, talking about coaching mistakes. You saw Eberflus have to blow a timeout because he initially told the team, go for 1-point conversion, and then he realized, oh no, we need to go for 2, or vice versa, right? So Eberflus is prone to little mistakes like that. Mike Tomlin's not making those mistakes. I don't care what you say about the guy. He has never had a losing season for a reason. He's an incredible coach, man. So he's going to he's not going to make mistakes like that. He's not going to give you freebies. Wherever he can find a flaw to exploit, that's what he does. He's a great coach. You do look at the numbers here. We talk about running more. Richardson had 20 pass attempts. We had 23 rushing attempts from Taylor, 2 from Sermon, 8 from Richardson. It was a pretty balanced approach. I still just want to lean more on the run, though, especially as Dave is saying late in the game. It's just got to be more, man. I mean, I know these days, like in this modern offense, you rarely see a running back with 30 carries, but Jonathan Taylor can be that guy. Or even give him 25 and give Trey Sermon, 6, 7.
No, not can be, Trev. Must be.
And should be. He's shown it to us time and time again. As long as he can stay healthy, he's dominant. So there's no reason to not lean on him. And then, too, we talk about the defense and the struggles we have and stuff. That helps your defense. The longer you can possess the ball, the longer you can give your defense rest. It's just taking time off the clock. It's contributing to that defensive effort, letting them get back healthy and back rested, catch their breath a little bit, and then go out and dominate again. So it's just winning football, man. But I thought we had a reasonably balanced approach against Chicago. I'd like to see, like I said, a little bit more rushing, but it wasn't like Richardson dropped back 40 times, So I wasn't too bothered by it.
Absolutely. Georgia finally got on the board. Nathan's watching the Georgia game. Yeah, they scored my guy Trevor Etienne, who should have never left. Nathan is saying here, I want to see run the ball more. They're trying to make him a pocket passer. Let's use his legs more. I kind of disagree with this, just because I don't think they're making him a pocket passer. I think they're letting him use his. So, just like Lamar Jackson, Anthony Richardson wants to be a pocket passer. There's always this label that gets on, and I hate to bring race into this, but anytime you got a black quarterback, everybody wants to say this guy needs to be a mobile guy. He has to run, or he wants to run. They put that label on you. And just like Lamar Jackson, Anthony Richardson wants to be a pocket passer. That's why I was bringing up that play that Dave Stewart had brought up, and then I was discussing with Trev, where he throws the interception back across his body. Those are one of those plays where we want to see you, Anthony, just take off.
Yeah.
Or
mobile,
there's the play, yeah, exactly. Or the play that it was called in the grass, but there was the sack that should have been on him from the Bears defensive tackle. Why am I forgetting his name? Because he's a Florida Gator. I'm forgetting his name.
I couldn't even tell you.
Oh, I'm so bad right now. But anyways, there should have been a strip sack for a fumble, and they called it in the grass. But Anthony Richardson sat in the pocket for too long, wanting to get it to his guys instead of just taking off out of the pocket and running. So I think they're letting him use his instincts. And Shane has said it multiple times, like anytime people ask him about his accuracy or mistakes he's made, and it's like Chris Ballard has also said it, guys have to play.
Yeah.
You can't keep saying we're the inexperienced team or we don't have the reps or whatever it may be if these guys aren't playing. So you got to let them play. You got to let them grow. And I think Anthony Richardson has one of the best pocket presence in the NFL, to be frank with you. But it's just one of those things where I think playing gives him more advantage as far as learning the game and seeing. Because it's Gervon Dexter. Oh, my bad. Gervon Dexter was the defensive tackle at this thing. But yeah, so it's one of those plays where I'm like, all right, instead of trying to get it to your receiver at that point, if you got 15 yards of green grass, just go take that. Yeah. Just take what the defense is giving you. That's how you will really excel. That's one of the things, if you notice Josh Allen from his rookie year, or not his rookie year, because his rookie year was really just growing pains, but his second year to now his fifth year, you can see he's really instinctive on knowing whether I got my guy or I should go.
Yeah.
And so I don't think that Shane wants him to be a pocket passer. I think Shane really trusts Anthony Richardson to just make the play that he sees there.
Yeah, and it's I mean, we can't say it enough times, but it is just reps. It's just playing time where he's going to get that. Like you said before, the guy's played 20-odd games between college and NFL. That's insane. There's no other quarterback with that little, that small amount of playing time doing what Richardson's capable of doing, right? So we just need to let this guy get reps.
The closest to it is Trey Lance, and he clearly hasn't worked out.
Yeah, and he's not a starter either for many reasons, right? So we kind of have an interesting situation here that's not super comparable to really any other quarterback that's starting right now. And we just have to let it play out, man. You have to let him continue to get these reps, continue to learn, and sometimes learning is going to be ugly. It's going to be interceptions. It's going to be, waiting too long or trying to force a play or something, right? Honestly, you just kind of have to let it happen. It sucks when it happens, but that's just part of having a young quarterback like this. It's going to happen. And then his highs are going to be really high too. So like I said before, let's just all try to be a little patient. I know during the game, we all say some shit, bro. During the game, I'm like, man, get AR the fuck off the field. I'm sick of this shit, all that.
I'm not gonna lie. When he threw that back across the body,
get him out of here
for interception. I didn't say get him off the field, but I was just like, bro, what the fuck are you doing?
Yeah.
That was my instant reaction.
Because we're all fans, bro. Fuck? We're all fans. We all want to win. We want to go 17-0. It's normal to get caught up in it. But after the game, you got to evaluate and look at it and be like, all right, man, let's give this guy some grace. Let's 100%. Give this guy some time. Because what he can be, like we said before, he can be incredible, man. He could be an MVP type guy as long as he can grow into that role, man. So we just got to be patient and let him continue to grow.
Absolutely. Hey, Trev, your boy, Caden Durham already has 200 yards, 2 touchdowns.
That kid's special, bro.
21-3 in the second quarter. Barely just started.
Hey, we haven't had a running back that looks like that in a minute, bro. So I'm excited about Durham.
Dude, that's not even y'all 5-star. Y'all got the 5-star kid coming in next year.
Yeah.
Crazy.
Hey, could get dangerous. But anyway, looking forward to tomorrow's game, Pittsburgh Steelers, man. A couple key things. Obviously, I believe Braden Smith is out. I want to say Ryan Kelly's out, or am I wrong about that?
No. Neither are out. Both are questionable.
Okay.
The only two that have been ruled out is Kenny Moore and Quiddy Pay.
And that could be a key for us, right? Because the biggest way for this game to become trouble for us is to let TJ Watt dominate. But if we have a healthy O-line, we have ways to combat that. He's still going to do what he's going to do. He's TJ Watt. He's incredible. But obviously,
fun fact. In the time that we've played the Steelers, no Braden Smith, 2 sacks. Braden Smith, no sacks. He was out last year, 2 sacks. So, we
I want to say break. Good Lord, I can't talk. Blake Freeland did all right for a rookie last year, playing one of the best guys in the game. But obviously, we don't want to see that again. We want to see Braden Smith out there holding it down.
That guy needs a Nobel Peace Prize for all the pass rushers he went against last year.
Yes, bro. Aaron Donald, TJ Watt. I want to say he played Judon too. Like
Myles Garrett.
Yeah, rough stretch, dude. But he held it down. That's why I'm comfortable with the backups we have. But obviously, you don't want to see those guys in there. You want our highest paid O-line going against the Steelers. Just looking at the game in general, man, this Steelers team, say what you will about the offense, say what you will about Justin Fields, that defense is real. They're legit. They're 3-0 right now, and not a single team has scored more than 10 points on them for a reason. Like, they are flying around the field. They are hitting guys. They're forcing turnovers. They're getting sacks. That defense is tough, man. So we're gonna have our work cut out for us tomorrow offensively.
Nathan saying here, how about with the strip sack fumble? Yeah, we got to this early in the show, Nathan. Hopefully he gets some more tomorrow, man. He can play against some.
He's gonna have opportunities, I think.
But he's gonna have some chances. David saying here, pet peeve when we're on the offensive inside the red zone, 5 or closer. We pack it in and try and run it. We have a really good offensive line. We pay a lot. Spread it out and let the O-line block less, defenders in the box, and let JT pick a hole.
Kind of moving to that more like stretch runs and stuff.
I'm kind of confused. Are you saying that should we spread it out or should we pack it in?
I think what he's saying is instead of like these inside zone runs and stuff, kind of look for a stretch runs, outside zone, kind of get him to those tackles or like have a pull guard, stuff like that. Whereas we do tend to pack it in a lot and just go a heavy set, power right, power left, what have you, and not enough kind of space for JT to be patient and find a hole. So yeah, I mean, I'm not opposed to that either, man. The more space, the more that you can get JT into open space, the better he's going to be. So yeah, 100%.
That's actually, I mean, Dave, you're on it tonight, man. I'm not gonna lie, dude. You really are. I will say because I've been feeling like a lot of our offense has been too compact. If you notice, even our offense throughout the field, when we're driving down the field, when we get the ball in the 20, 30, 40, wherever we start out with the ball, I feel like our splits are too condensed with how much we have going on. I feel like when you have Anthony Richardson and JT in the backfield, you should want it spread out so you make the defense make a choice.
Yeah.
Are we going to, protect the deep back end? Or are we going to try and stack the box to stop the run? Because we know what it is with Anthony Richardson's arm. And again, I still believe that if A.D. Mitchell and Anthony Richardson can get on the same page as far as these deep routes, because A.D. is one of the leading receivers in separation in this league, and if they can connect, our offense will really break open.
Yeah.
So definitely agree with you, Dave. I'm not going to say I'm too mad at some of the stuff formations as far as trying to, get the touchdown and just run it at. Because me personally, I'm a running back at heart, so I'm all about running through a motherfucker's face. Like that's
football.
That's just what we do.
Football.
So I'm not necessarily mad at that, but I definitely get what you're saying about spreading it open, letting JT pick a hole. You kind of want some creativity as well. As long as we're not running speed options like the Chicago Bears in the red zone, that's one thing I absolutely hate. Anytime you got positive yardage when you got like a a 2nd and 2, and you want to throw like a screen or something, anytime you're going backwards, I absolutely hate it. Um, so I'm all for it. If you spread them out, you make a defense pick a choice. You make them you pick your poison, which one you want to go after. Kind of make a play on it. Kind of like the Anthony Richardson play that was tipped to intercepted. We were in condensed splits, tried to fake out of that, and then you got 3 defenders on 1 receiver, and it ends up getting tipped. So I totally get what you're saying. Nathan is saying here, I want to see if the Steelers could stop Pierce on the deep ball. Yeah, we might as well go ahead and jump into it a little bit. Just like Trevor was saying, the Steelers defense is for real. I'm not gonna say I'm completely sold, to be honest with you guys. Our matchup versus the Steelers is 27-7.
Oh, I don't have that.
Last year was our first time beating the Steelers. Yeah, one of this our first wins versus the Steelers was last year. It was our first time beating them in like 15 years or something like that, 14 years. So it has not been pretty. But I'm going to get to some of the matchups here. I wouldn't say as far as could they stop the deep ball, just because anytime somebody puts 2 deep safeties and they're basically just running with your receivers, they're trying to keep you from throwing the deep ball. Mike Tomlin's going to come in. He wants to stop the run.
Yep.
I don't necessarily see it being like man-to-man. He's going to play a lot of man-to-man. Probably going to stack the box, have a corner and a deep safety on the deepest receivers. This would probably be, if I was to guess, if I was making the game plan, it'd probably be one to say, hey, we're going to make Michael Pittman Jr. and Josh Downs beat us. We're not going to let Eddie Mitchell and Alec Pierce beat us with their speed. So that's kind of where I'm at with that.
Yeah, they're going to look to force us into these throws that AR has struggled with, right? These intermediate throws, these short outs and everything where he kind of overthrows guys. That's what they want to force us to play into. They're going to try to stack the box, like you said. I imagine they'll probably play a lot of too high just to try to take away that Alec Pierce deep ball. But I think we might sneak one in there. Pierce has gotten one pretty much every game. So I could see us still getting one regardless of what they do. But yeah, it's really just going to be a matter of our offensive line moving bodies around or getting pushed back. That's the battle right there to me. This is a trenches game. I expect it to be a really ugly game, to be honest with
you. Yeah, man. So, like Chuck said, though, this is Steelers defense is for real. I just kind of question it because of the fact that they've won their 3 total games by a margin of 24.
Yeah.
3 games by a margin of 24 points. They haven't scored over 20 once. They've scored 20 once. Have 1 game by 8-point victory. Or no, I'm sorry, 9-point victory. Yep. And another game over 8 points. They've only scored 18 points, 13 and 20, given up 10, 6, and 20. The offense that they faced was, Kirk Cousins still working out the Achilles injury that he was coming off of. Rookie quarterback for the Denver Broncos, getting his second start. Yeah. And then they faced the Chargers team who had Justin Herbert, who was dealing with a high ankle sprain, which, in my opinion, he shouldn't have played last week. And he also shouldn't have played this week. I don't understand what the Chargers are doing over there, really trying to get a guy killed. So, again, I think, kind of who you're facing kind of –
I can see that.
Can kind of blind what your stats are. It was kind of like the Browns last year. When we played the Browns, we all thought it was going to be a barn burner. Thought, oh my God, this Brown team is so good. We ended up dropping 38 and almost 400 yards of offense. So, yeah. I don't necessarily I don't want to sit here and disrespect or underplay them. Obviously, I think every Steelers team that's came through for years has been a really good defense. I just think some of the numbers that are there are far overblown. They're giving up 8 points a game. I just don't necessarily see that being the case. Yeah. I know we had 10 against the Packers, but I think a lot of that had to do with growing pains with Anthony Richardson versus just being a really good defense.
I think my reservations, and just to be clear, I still expect us to win this game. I have this game as a victory, so I'm not saying we're not going to win. I just think this is another ugly game for the Colts. I think even though they haven't faced, like Dave says, they haven't faced Murderers Row, right? They haven't faced a bunch of great teams. But the problem is no matter who they're facing, they're forcing them to play how they want them to play. They're holding teams down regardless. And they're not giving anything up, right? So you could say they're not facing Murderers Row, but also our offense hasn't been Murderers Row yet either. Like Houston Texans was our best offensive game, our best offensive output, and we lost that game. Obviously, Green Bay was a terrible game. We don't have to talk about it. And then last week we win, but again, not a super overwhelming offensive performance. That's why I'm like, if this is going to be a year where we have a really threatening offense, this is a great test for us because this is a good defense. I don't expect their offense to really do anything. So if our offense can win that battle, then we run away with this game, like you said before, a 27-7 type game. I just don't see that yet. I think it's still early in the year. I think we still have a lot of struggles, a lot to work out. I think it's another game where we're going to have to lean on JT in the second half to win the game because I expect it to be pretty ugly before that.
Yeah, as for me, I'm not necessarily like I think it could be an ugly game, but again, I just think a lot of the schedule has kind of favored the Steelers.
For
just
sure.
Looking over here, they gave up 44 yards rushing to J.K. Dobbins. The leading rusher for the Broncos was Bo Nix. Bijan Robinson had 18 carries for 68 yards. That was their best rushing performance that they went against. So I kind of like Trev said, I mean, this is really just on us. Again, this is another game that I think is on us. I think a lot of games that we play this year, the reason why a lot of us has predicted the Colts to win about 10, 11 games is because of the fact that we have the capability to be that team. And I think it kind of a lot just depends upon us. Who are we going to be that week? Are we going to get Anthony Richardson from Houston? Or are we going to get Anthony Richardson from Green Bay? And it's just one of those situations where I think that if we continue to progress week from week, I think this could really be something that if we come in with the right game plan where we're going to run the ball and force the Steelers to stop us, and I think it could be a situation where we get some really good plays out of it. And again, it's like I don't want to make it seem like we just got it. I just really feel confident in what we have. I just see a lot of teams that we play on our schedule, and if we play our A game, I don't really feel like there's many teams that can beat us. And many people have, they've given, many people have given Justin Fields and the Steelers, the lofty crown of being 3-0 and leading the AFC North right now. Sure. They really haven't seen what a lot of teams have as far as like a Kansas City or a Green Bay, some of the matchups that they have seen. So I really think it's on us just to not give another game away. Yeah. I really think that's what the first 3 games that we've had so far have been games for us to not give away, and I think that'll come down to it again.
100%. This is a game that is on us. And now that I've given some credit to their defense and how I believe they can make this an ugly game, let me talk about their offense because it is a mess, dude. It is an absolute mess. Justin Fields finally had a decent game last week. He had 240 yards, something like that. I think he threw for a touchdown and a pick. And it was like an average game all around. That was his best performance of the season. Before that, he had not thrown 200 yards.
Leave it to the analysts. He looks great and way better from Chicago.
No, absolutely. I mean, better from Chicago, maybe because he kind of has somewhat of an O-line. So that's debatable, but that's just because Chicago's inept. That's not because he's a generational player. Overall, I think Justin Fields is about an average level quarterback. I think he can beat you if you don't do what you need to do. But as long as we play the defense we're capable of playing, Justin Fields should not put up more than 20 points on us. And I don't see that at all. I think they struggle to score against us. And then you talk about the rushing attack, right? Especially without Jaylen Warren, they are in deep shit. All right, Najee Harris is not that guy at all. He averages like 3-point-something yards per carry on a good day. He has not rushed for 100 yards yet. I'm not sure if he's rushed for 80 yards yet. I'd have to check that again. But he's had very mediocre games all season and, quite frankly, like most of his career. And they don't have anyone else on that team that's really threatening other than George Pickens, maybe Pat Freiermuth. But, again, it's a question of can Justin Fields even get the ball to them as long as you're playing solid defense. So, ultimately, there's no one on this offense that really should scare you or threaten you as a Colts fan. It's again, it's on us. It's on this defense, man. And if the defense plays like they did last week against Chicago, this is a win for us. But if we revert to what we did week 1, week 2, whatever, if that was not just, early scary season shit, and that's just the norm for us, then we have some problems. But I fully believe that, those first 2 weeks were kind of just getting the rust off of the defense and everything. And last week is how our defense should be. So as long as we do that again this week, I believe we come away with a relatively easy win. It's just not going to be pretty.
Got another promo in there. I thought it would keep up there with you with your permission on there. But we got wines 23 and wines.com. Yeah, check us out. So just want to go over some of the stats that you were talking about, Trev. He actually hasn't ran too much. Week 1, 6 carries, 6 yards. Week 2, 8 carries, 27 yards, 1 fumble. Week 3, 14 carries, 57 yards, and 1 fumble. Nathan said that Justin Fields has been.
Yeah, he's pretty mediocre, man. He can perform well if you give him the time, but that's any NFL quarterback. So as long as the Latu's getting after him, Grover Stewart, DeForest Buckner, I think we'll be just fine.
Yeah. The Instagram thing is tripping out right now. So yeah, it hasn't looked too pretty as well. From a passing standpoint, his accuracy has seemed a lot better, but from what I've seen, his passing charts haven't looked too crazy. I mean, they did get one, I think, a deep pass that he had called back due to an OPI, but it's been 25 for 32 with 78 yards, 245, 1 touchdown, 1 pick, 13 for 20, 65 completion percentage, 117, yardage-wise, 1 touchdown. And then last week, 17 for 23, 73 yards, 156 through the air. So hasn't necessarily had a field day through the air. And I personally think that they're not really trying to use him too much. It's more so, Justin, don't lose us any games, rather than, hey, go do this, go do that. So I think that's one of the things that we really need to recognize. I think a lot of it has been overblown. And I'm not trying to say like we have the most elite defense. They could easily make our defense look like crap.
We've seen that. Yeah.
We've seen the mistakes that we have made. But I just don't want anybody to get this thing overblown. If we lose this game again, this would be completely on us and how we're playing versus how somebody else can come in and beat us. Personally, just how I see it, I think it's something that we can continue to get better with, to build upon. I don't see any reason why we should lose. And just like Trev was saying, they don't have anybody that really wows you outside of George Pickens and then Justin Fields' running ability. And they also don't have Jaylen Warren, which I absolutely love because that helps us.
Huge. Yeah.
That's the guy that if he was playing, who I would be worried about. I don't think necessarily. I said this again. I said this week 1 about Joe Mixon. I feel like, same thing with Najee Harris. I don't feel like he's a guy that should be too explosive and give us too much trouble. I think it really comes down to, can we continue to, stop the run, play well against the pass, and not give up too many dumb mistakes. Contain the edges. They're going to run some boots. Get him out on the edge, get him away from the interior pressure, and make him be a passer, man. Make him be a passer and just don't let him go crazy.
And this is just a really good litmus test for our defense to see like where we're at, honestly, because this is a game where they should be, quite honestly, pretty easily contained, right? If this team scores more than 14 points on us, something has gone wrong, because I don't think they're capable of doing. They shouldn't be capable of doing that. Granted, we lost to Malik Willis. I'm not going to sit here and say that's not going to happen, because it can happen, right? We've seen that with this defense. But this is another test for us of like, now that supposedly we've shaken the rust off, we're ready to go this year finally. Can you go out and dominate a team that does not have offensive threats like the rest of the league? And the answer should unequivocally be yes. We should go out there and smack them in the mouth. They should not score more than 14. But we'll have to see. Like that's going to be something to watch out for tomorrow. I really expect good linebacker play. I expect us to swarm Najee Harris. And I honestly I don't love. Obviously, I do not like not having Quiddy Pay available. But the fact of the matter is, he has struggled sometimes stealing the edge, and that could have been a problem against Justin Fields. So now you look at a guy like Taekwon Lewis and Leatu Latu getting more snaps, and Taekwon is a little bit better about stealing that edge. So maybe that's a factor in stopping Justin Fields from being able to run the ball against us. So honestly, like him having more snaps might play to our favor. That'll be something to watch, play out.
Yeah, man, absolutely. I just think we just don't need to beat ourselves. If it should be gap integrity, rush lanes, containing the pocket, all that good stuff, and then making sure we wrap up. We have to tap
better tap.
Caleb Williams was pretty slippery last week. If you think it won't get worse with Justin Fields, you're mistaken. We got to be ready to wrap up and tackle, keep pressure on them constantly. Just like Nathan said earlier, we got some injuries, but the Steelers have some too, and theirs are amongst the offensive line. We can't continue to keep wasting our offensive line. Our offensive line is playing elite, and I mean top tier.
Yeah.
Top one, number one in passing, number 3 in rushing. We have to continue to take advantage of this offensive line, and I pray, I knock on wood, got some over here, that we continue to stay healthy amongst the offensive line and continue to keep dominating up front, because that's where we need it from. Obviously, we have some injuries amongst our defensive line, but hey,
we got so many guys.
Leatu Latu, this is what we drafted you for. Control the run, get the ball.
Yeah.
Daniel Adangbo, you are in a contract year. Go get your worth. This is where they come through. Dave Stewart says, last week said how loud it was for Chicago. Will be worse for Steelers fans. Travel well. I mean, they traveled last year to get blown out by 20 points or whatever it was. So
hopefully the same this year.
We just need to take care of business, Dave. Like I said again, I think that this is just like 2020. No, it was 2020. Phillip Rivers year. Yeah, just like 2020 when the Steelers were 11-0. We had them down like 20-7 at at halftime or something like that, and we ended up losing that game. And they were the worst 11-0 team I have ever seen. So, just like that game, we gotta stop letting people get off easy. We can't keep beating ourselves. That's the problem. We beat ourselves and we give team passes all the time. So
something that I think will be a big factor to look out for tomorrow. Just specifically to quarterback play, we saw it with CJ, we saw it with Malik Willis, not so much with Caleb Williams because he kind of extends plays in a different way, and a lot of the times it results in him being sacked, so that played to our favor. But we cannot let Justin Fields, be able to extend the play and use the pressure against us. Like if we collapse these edges and then he can just shoot up the middle, that's something to watch out for that has hurt us the last couple of weeks, minus Chicago, that we just can't let happen, because that could be a factor very quickly in how their offense might be able to move the ball against us. Is like we get too much pressure and then he just scampers away from us. So look for that to be a big factor. And then on the counter, right, on our offense, look for us to use that to our favor, right? Anthony Richardson is going to be the best athlete on the field at any given time. And I think this is a tough game for him throwing the ball. I don't think he has as many picks. I don't think he throws 2 picks tomorrow, but I do think he has a similar struggle type day where he probably throws 55%, hopefully 200 yards, but give or take around there. But I'd look for him to do some damage with his legs tomorrow too.
I need him to not throw 2 picks tomorrow. Peyton Manning gonna start cheesing if Anthony Richardson throws 2 picks tomorrow, and I don't want to be the team that holds the rookie record for interceptions twice.
Even though he's technically not a rookie, 100%. We definitely have to cut down on these.
He's not a rookie, so he wouldn't necessarily hold that record. But
but if we're anywhere near 28, we have a problem.
Yeah, we definitely don't need that. Dave Stewart saying here that was a road game and the refs screwed us. Yeah, I get that they screwed us, but I mean it's like if Frank would have continued to run the ball, we win that game. So that's just one of those things where I'm like, it's just situationally where we just have to be better. I just think that if we control the ground, continue to be great up front, get pressure on Justin Fields. We can make him make mistakes. I don't know. A lot of people missed it, but some people said Anthony Richardson was lucky he didn't have a pick in that fourth pick in that Green Bay game because he threw the ball, bounced up in the air, and Alec Pierce caught it. Justin Fields had one of those last Sunday, so he was lucky as well. I think that we just need to make sure we come ready to play, get pressure on them, keep pressure on them all day, run the ball. Anthony Richardson be smart with the ball, run the damn ball, and we will be all right. We will get the job done. So that's something that I'm hoping that we keep and make sure we have it figured out. I think we'll be just all right there.
Yeah, ultimately, score prediction for tomorrow. I'm looking at, like I said, kind of an ugly game. I think it's a Colts win, though. I think it's roughly like 21-12 or something. I think they kick a lot of field goals tomorrow. I'll say 21-13 is my final score prediction. Yeah, just look for an ugly game, but we ended up coming out on top in the second half.
Yeah, I also have Zach and Damon's predictions here. I don't know if they would have changed anything with the way the season has gone, but both of them had the Colts getting a win. Not sure about the score, so I don't have that for you guys. But I do have mine. I'm going to go 18-13. Colts getting the win.
Yeah.
I think that should be something that we should be able to get done.
Just be prepared for a somewhat frustrating day tomorrow, but I think we come out on top in the end.
Mark Lane is saying the Colts messed up by getting rid of Naeem Hines. He was a good back for passing and check downs.
Yeah, but he didn't even play anymore.
Yeah, I think it's just tough when a player wants to go. You kind of just have to let him go. I think that's the tough part for some. You know, if somebody wants out, you can't really hold on to him. But appreciate everybody who came through tonight. You know, got another big one tomorrow. Hopefully we can bounce back, make this 2 in a row. We can get back to 500 and get this race back in with the AFC South and get things rolling, man. Get it really things rocking. So hope we can go ahead and go get it done. Appreciate everybody.
Win the ugly ones.
Let's go. Let's get it done. Let's go Colts.
Go Colts.
Second down, he fakes to Taylor, fires over the middle, completes. Pittman breaking free. Pittman, Colts retain.